Welcome everyone to another episode of Master Plan. I'm your host, Monica Sekhmet Grant, and today we have a really special interview with Devin Davis of Tonus Audio. Really happy to have you here today.
Yeah,
how you doing?
I'm great. Happy to be here.
Thank you so much for coming out.
Absolutely.
You're doing great things, so I'm happy you're here.
Yeah, definitely. Doing big things. We're trying to, take it to the next level within audio, within tech, and go from there. So
I love it. Let's go from there. So tell the audience a little bit who you are and why you're here today and what you have going on with Tonus Audio.
Yeah, so I'm Devin Davis, CEO and founder of Tonus Audio. And what Tonus is a lifestyle audio brand of headphones and speakers. And really, we're just launching our first product, which is the PowerMac Wireless, which we're wearing now. Both Monica and I are wearing now. And the PowerMac Wireless is a sports, inner sports Bluetooth headphone. And there are a lot of headphone companies out there, but what makes the PowerMac unique and differentiated from other products in the market is that it's activated by magnetic technology. So the way we have it clamped together on the neck,
right?
Once you separate it, it instantly pairs to your phone, tablet, or laptop within 2 to 3 second pairing time.
Right.
And then you put it back together, goes back in standby mode. So there's no on or off switch. So it's an innovative technology. That's something that's different in the market, and market that's really growing and exploding. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. How did you come up with this idea to come out with headphones?
Yeah. So actually, we often hear people often say, find your passion. What's your passion?
That's right.
And when you think about it, it's like, are you that passionate about headphones? And it's
right.
like, not really, but it's what the product represents, right? So what I did was I took a step back and I looked at all of my passions, or what I'm passionate about, each one of those vertical points. And the things that I'm passionate about: sports, technology, design, fitness. So when I looked at each one of those verticals, then I figured out, okay, how can I package all of that together in one product? And it just zeroed in on headphones, and that's where it came out to be.
Awesome,
yeah.
awesome. And so we spoke before, and I asked you about like how'd you start, and you told me you did a lot of research. Can we talk about that? Like, how important is doing your research before jumping into a business? How important is that?
Yeah, it's extremely important. I would say knowing the data, right? Big data is growing everywhere. You go to any grocery store, you go to any market just where you're shopping. If you have those little scan cards on your keychain, they're collecting data on your purchases.
That's right. That's right.
So they know what you're buying, when you're buying it, what your demographic is, where you're from, and what your consistencies are. So understanding the market for me was the biggest part in this and doing the research. So what we, just research, hey, what's the wireless headphones category doing? What is the headphone category doing anyway? And looked at a few different factors. You have mobile, which is in everybody's pocket, right? Mobile phones. But then you also have streaming services, which are becoming extremely popular at the moment.
Right.
So, you think about Spotify and Apple Music, and folks have access to that 24/7 based off your mobile device. So understanding what's the demographic, understanding the fitness industry is booming right now. Everybody's living a healthier lifestyle. So really just diving into the data and the insights and understanding what does the number or the stats tell me. And that proved to me that it was a good category to get involved in.
Right. That's awesome. What made you go into the business world? What made you take that leap?
Yeah, so great question. I've always been interested in business. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I remember just being young and having many different side hustles at the time, right? So,
same.
At one point I started a record label early on, started a dog breeding business, and just always having something to sell. And not really knowing that it was business at the time, but just having that entrepreneurial spirit. And once I graduated college and I stopped playing football, I recognized that, hey, I do want to go into business in some capacity. I didn't necessarily know what, but I knew I wanted to be a businessman in some sense of the form. And then also when you just think about, even within our community, the hustler, right? The hustler is the person that's personified, in the rap industry and movies, right? So being that hustler is something that's always been within me. So how do you turn whatever hustle that you have, you want it to be a legal hustle, right?
Right.
But understanding that the hustle is is what drives people, what motivates me. So that at that point is like whether you're grinding in sports, whether you're grinding in a classroom, whether you're grinding for a company, but having that hustle is what it's about.
I'm all about the hustle.
That's
I
what it
don't
is.
care where I am. I'm going to out hustle you.
Out hustle you. Yep. From the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. Yeah.
Right. My family's from Detroit. You know, we're from the South, but you know, everybody moves to Detroit. And it's like I got that Detroit hustle in my blood.
There you go.
I don't care where I am. I could be in a suit, in a professional setting. I'm going to hustle.
Absolutely.
You know? That's what gets me out of bed. And so I love that you said that. I love that you said
definitely.
that. What got you, because you came from the corporate world, right? How did you make that transition into making this your full-time business? And I want to be honest. So a lot of people jump into business and they do online marketing or they open a barbershop or something that we know. We don't see a lot of brothers, you know, going after the tech industry.
Definitely.
So how did you take that leap? What made you move forward?
For me, I started off in consumer products. Even through college, I was working. I worked in manufacturing. So understanding, you know, seeing a production run of a couple million cases of a product, and then after school, I ended up working in sales. And I think sales is extremely important it's a huge opportunity. Just a lot of people are intimidated by sales. You may think like, hey, I heard sales is cutthroat, or I've heard that, you know, sales, you may think of like a car salesman, right? Sales is not necessarily that type of industry. The thing I love about sales is that it is whatever you put out, you're going to see the results of your labor.
That's right.
And it's direct impact.
That's right. And
no matter what industry you're in, if you're going out selling, it's immediate gratification to a certain extent. So worked in sales in that aspect, and then it transferred over into marketing because I wanted to understand the why behind the product that I was actually selling. So what went into that? So again, that's where I got more of my insights chops, more of my analytical chops through that marketing venture. And for me, transitioning from corporate into the entrepreneurial world was working after hours, whether that's, you know, let's say if you have the 9 to 5, getting off and working from 7 to 2, right? That's where the grind starts, right? From 7 to 2, you do your day job, but the grind starts after hours. And really capitalizing on that opportunity, momentum, and just taking step by step, really just having a plan and taking it step by step. And once the product, you know, once Tonus was launched, we were able to really just scale up, you know, and create national distribution. I can ship to anywhere in the United States via e-commerce.
That's awesome.
And registered brand on Amazon. So having those systems in place allowed the transition to be that much easier rather than saying, hey, I'm jumping out of a window and I'm going to go figure it out once I'm done. But having that system in place. So.
Right. And I asked you before, what type of investment does a person need to take that leap and to get into the tech field? If they want to do headphones, maybe they want to create a new type of audio system. What type of investment does a person need to have? And
just so I make sure I'm clear, are you referring to just cash investment, like how to fund it, or
what else?
Well, I'll say, so I'll answer that question first. But
I'm open to all answers.
You know. So I would say to fund the investment, it's, you know, making sure you have some sort of savings. Mark Cuban said it best. He said, anyone who takes a loan to start a business is an idiot. And those are his words, right? But I think it's great. You may need a loan to help get your business going, but for the most part, you should come in with some initial capital. And the way I did that was just by saving. And I think even during our previous conversation, I referenced The Richest Man in Babylon.
Right. Talk about that.
So constantly getting education, understanding personal finance. And The Richest Man in Babylon, one thing I liked about that is it taught me a strategy of how to save. I know when I grew up, my dad used to always say, save your money. Save your money, son. Save your money. Don't spend your money. But he didn't give me a strategy of how I should go about saving. When I read The Richest Man in Babylon, it explained at a minimal, you save 10% of everything you own. You pay yourself first before you pay anyone else, because the bills are always going to be there.
Always.
But pay yourself first, and that way, you know, whether it's every week or every 2 weeks, whatever you get paid, over a couple months, you have a nice stack of savings. And then the next step in The Richest Man in Babylon is it teaches you how to invest. Now, that's either starting your own business or actually making loans to people and collecting interest on those loans, in which you see that in different markets happen now. But for me, it was taking my capital and investing in and start my own business.
Awesome.
So from an initial capital funding standpoint to get involved in tech, it's different across various industries, but within hardware specifically, the initial investment, and I think it's two different pathways. One is if you're starting your own brand, if you really want to go into branding yourself, creating your own packaging, that's going to be a little bit more expensive. But just to start off, if you want to get some product, that's a lower investment, and I would say maybe between $5 to $10 grand.
Mm-hmm.
But anything, if you want to do personal branding, add on another $5 to $10 grand to that. So I'll say at a max around 20 to 25.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. I love the fact that your story comes with, I had to plan this out.
Absolutely.
You couldn't you don't stumble into this. You have to really plan it out. You did your research, you looked at the data, and then you made a decision.
Definitely.
Sometimes I think, in our community, and just, in low income communities, whatever community you want to think of, this is what's hot, so let's jump on it.
Yeah.
And you didn't do that.
No.
And so I appreciate that. And I appreciate your pop saying, save your money.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't know what you were saving for.
Exactly.
But at least you had that in your ear.
Yeah,
That's
no,
awesome.
definitely. And I think it's important that you have people around you to tell you don't go out and spend frivolously.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a mindset shift that I had to make with becoming an entrepreneur. And for example, everybody likes nice rides and flashing and flossing, right?
For sure.
Not purchasing the newest whip that came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just sticking with what I had to make sure that, okay, I have a larger vision. My vision is greater than what the public may see at the moment.
That's right.
So, delayed gratification, which in our generation is not the most popular thing.
It's hard.
It's hard, right?
It's hard.
So I think understanding those things, that's really it. But yeah, delayed gratification and
How
working diligently.
long was your delay?
Yeah, I would say maybe had about a 2-year delay with not really doing extensive spending, not really going out splurging, or even if you go into the bar or you go into the club and popping bottles, but not overindulging in some of the more common things that we like to indulge in.
Right.
But saying like, hey, I'm saving this money because I know whatever venture I go into, I have working capital for
Right.
me. Yeah.
Right. I feel like when I focused on I'm a full-time entrepreneur, this is it. There is no other way. There's no job I'm going into.
No.
I started to look at, is this drink really going to come back to me? Like, it might feel good for a couple hours, but like, is this going to help me?
Absolutely.
Is it going to make me hungry till now where I got to go buy some more food? It's like a downward slope.
Yep.
Whereas if I just keep this little, $10 in my pocket, at least I can have $10 in my pocket.
Yeah.
And if I want to invest that or use that to maybe get a train pass and I can go somewhere that's going to help me, I need to be using my money to where it at least can come back to me.
Definitely.
And so I started so I understand what you're saying about like looking at things differently. How is my money working for me?
Absolutely.
Even if it's not in a savings account, how is it working for me? Because everything we do is a choice. We vote with our dollars, 100%. And so, when I go to the bar, it's like, no, I'm good. Like if it's a free drink, okay.
Yeah, I'll indulge, yeah.
But like, I got to pay for that?
Yeah.
That's not coming back to me. There's no return on that, and then I might have to work it off the next day,
No, I think to that point, one thing I often say to my friends is, do we live a diminishing life? And what I mean by that is, is some of the things that you're involved in, that you're spending your money, is it bringing value to you, right? Or is it taking away from you, right? So if you have an investment or you have some sort of asset that's producing for you, to think differently, change your whole strategic, outlook. If you're just going out and splurging your money on nice things and experiences to some extent, but that's taking away from you. What are you doing that's going to bring value to you on a daily basis? So.
Absolutely, because you only can be young for so long. And I've hit that over 30 mark, and it's like,
Yeah, what's that 401k looking like? What's my savings account?
I can't be out here forever.
Yeah, no, for sure.
When you're 20, you think like, everything's
you
good.
can burn through it.
Yeah. I'm fine. I'm gonna get up and just pop up every day.
Yeah.
No. You got to start making some real decisions.
Definitely.
Yeah. And that's important as you get older. Your parents, did they instill in you entrepreneurial mindset, or was it something that you had to teach them? Like, what was growing up?
No, I think that's a great question. I think I grew up in the era where, so you got to think, like, generational wise, my grandfather was an entrepreneur.
Okay.
He owned his own carpentry business.
Wow.
And he had his own house, and he raised, 14 kids.
I know that's right. That's a man.
A man. Right? Old school, right?
Yeah.
So that's amazing. When I look back at that story, that's amazing. But my dad, he went to college, and my mom as well. You know, they both went to college. They got corporate jobs, and with those jobs, you know, you're told to stay at that job for a long time and get your 401k, get your pension. Whereas my dad always talked about having a side hustle.
Okay.
So to some extent, he always, you know, was an entrepreneur, but nothing to the scale that I'm trying to take a business.
Right.
No one has been even within my network of college friends, you know, former colleagues. No one that I know has been looking for investments, and I think that's where the shift happens, where you are actively pursuing, saying, hey, I have something, I'm going to show you a vision of 3 years out, I have a plan, and I'm looking for you to invest capital within me, right? And then the other thing too about entrepreneurship that really struck a chord with me was my dad had lost his job. You know, he was with this company for years, right? And unexpectedly, he ended up losing his job. And at that moment, after that happened, I remember him struggling, you know, bouncing around from company to company, trying to find steady footing.
Right.
So for me, I knew that somebody else can take that away from you at any given moment. Even though you may feel like you have a secure career, that still can be taken away with you, right? They can just say, hey, you know, thank you for your services, best of luck.
Right.
And I wanted to create something that no one could ever fire me from or take away from me, but that I can also pass down generations, you know, either to my kids or, you know, sell the company, and then we have generational wealth.
Absolutely.
So that's where my mind was. But it was that one, I would say that one experience that was pretty pivotal for me.
Awesome. You know, I was thinking about this, I guess, last night. You know, people, because so part of my background is I've organized, I was a community organizer, I was a labor organizer. Okay. And so going from knocking on doors to going into workplaces talking about, hey, do you want more money, you know, at your job? Are you pissed off at your work? You know, do you want to see improvements? And so what I realized is that not everybody is so much motivated as far as money is concerned, but it's the idea of security. And so they'll take a pay cut, they'll take less money if they just know that it's going to keep coming in. You know, and so that's like the whole, you know, we know $15 an hour is nothing.
It's nothing, yep.
But if I know that I can at least get that, you know, I'll sign up for it.
My bills are paid. And
my bills are paid.
I don't have to worry.
Yeah. And it's that idea of security that gets people stuck in this job life.
Definitely.
You know, and there wasn't a question out of that, but tell me, what do you think about that?
You know, I think when it comes to, I'm a student of YouTube, and I feel like,
me too.
Yeah, so you know what I'm referring to. I'm a student of YouTube, and one person I got hooked on was Bob Proctor. Are you familiar with Bob Proctor?
I'm familiar with Bob. He's not my favorite one, but
not my favorite, but he had something that was very insightful. He talked about the terror barrier, and basically said it's this invisible wall where you recognize that in order for me to get to freedom, I need to smash through this barrier, right? And for some people, it may be leaving that job, right? And not understanding, like, but that's my whole livelihood right there. But understanding that you'll hit this invisible wall, you know you want to leave, you'll hit this invisible barrier, and it'll keep you right where you are. Right. So you'll get ready to, hey, I'm gonna walk and I'm gonna put in those 2 weeks in, and then all of a sudden it's like, hit that terror barrier, and you stuck. You're like, well, maybe I'll just stay for a month. Maybe I'll just, in that month turn into 6 months until another. Exactly. So once you could smash through that terror barrier, it opens you up to extreme freedom. And anything worth living is on the other side of fear. Right. Anything worth experiencing is on the other side of fear. And I think like Will Smith even had a good segment that I saw on YouTube when he talked about skydiving. I'm not sure if you saw that one, but he talked about skydiving and said he was so afraid leading up to it, but once he jumped out the plane, it was ultimate bliss. And experiencing it, he's like, well, what was I so afraid of before? But it's that terror barrier, that invisible thing that's going to keep you within those walls. So it's like really setting yourself free to a certain extent. I feel like the fear is worse than the actual doing. Exactly. You know, but like you have to get through that. You got to get through it. You know, and I think it gets better each time. You know, like you're building up your confidence. Because there's things that, you know, like I was afraid of before. It's like that wasn't even important. Like that was a joke. Yep. You know. No, I got you. Yeah. And you know, I believe in a God, so you know, like God will take care of everything. Yeah, absolutely. Particularly if you're in your master plan and you're moving, and like you keep like I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out. Definitely. Like doors will open for you just off of movement alone because you're
setting that intention. I'm going to get on the other side of that wall.
And the thing, so to that point, even with starting Tonus and trying to figure out how to ship my products from, my products was manufactured in China. I have no problem saying that. So understand how to ship my products.
You're putting people out of work.
I'm not. Hey, listen, we got it. At an entrepreneur, you got to make your dollars work for you, right? So
that's right.
But with shipping the products from China, I ran into a little trouble of like, what's the supply chain? How am I going to get through this? And I remember my manager at the time, he didn't even know it at that moment, but he said something that was very insightful that helped me unlock how to get that supply chain moving. And I didn't know about it, but he didn't know what I was working on, but at the same time, it was just something that God reveal his doors. Once you start taking those steps,
that's right.
Those doors will be open.
That's right.
It's gonna come. Right. It's gonna come as you have to take the first step first. And it'll work out.
It absolutely will. Yeah. We're both testimonies of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Where did the name Tonus come from?
No, interesting question. So Tonus is it really means tone, tone of voice. It's Latin for sound, Latin for tone. Okay. So it's tone of voice. And it conveys a few different things. So tone of voice, but also tone as in pitch with the music. In addition to that, if you look at the definition, it goes a little bit deeper to talk about stretch. So as you're talking about pitch of chord, stretch of note. But even with the first product, the Power Mic Wireless, which is geared towards the fitness crowd, it becomes stretching. So think about yoga and actually stretching myself, making sure that I'm in the right tone, like I'm in a nice tone.
That's right.
So it plays across a few different aspects, and even as we look at pop culture, music is synonymous with athletics and overall just pop culture. So it's actually pretty relevant to everything that's, I guess, people value in our society today.
Right. How'd you come up with it? You just researched it?
Just researched it. So it all goes back to the research.
I love that. I love that. That's important. You got to be researching. You got to be reading. You got to know our stuff.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So tell me about the supply chain for somebody that wants to get products made in China. What advice would you give them? What things should they look out for?
So definitely Google is your best friend. YouTube is your best friend. And when it comes to the most important thing, again, depending on what you want to go into, but if you're looking at hardware or a physical product, you need to find a manufacturer first. Okay. So understanding that manufacturer, understanding what are their capabilities. And I think capability is a key word there, because what can they do for you, right? If I'm going to bring you 10 grand, right, and I'm asking to produce this product, what can you do? Right. Can you give me everything that I'm asking for? Can you meet my expectations? Can you exceed my expectations, right? So that's the first part, finding the manufacturing process. The second part is understanding logistically, how am I going to move that product from one continent to another, right? That's right. How am I going to get, or from one country to another, rather, but, is it going to be via sea? Is it going to be through air? And then once you get it to the States, how are you going to ship it there? Is it FedEx? Is it, freight? Are you using a different freight shipper to help get that product to your end result, whether that's your doorstep, whether that's Amazon. So understanding that process, and then logistically, once you have that product, how are you going to get it out to your consumers? What's your marketing strategy, right? What's your sales distribution method? Is it e-commerce? That gives you access to national distribution. I can ship to any state in the United States. But from there, is it, again, do I have a storefront? Am I selling to retail? There's so many different different aspects or lock and key that goes into that you really have to think that process through. Yeah.
And so you figured it out from a factory in China to getting it to America, to getting it to your house, or to your company, to getting it to somebody's home.
Getting it to somebody's home.
That's awesome. Yeah. You're an amazing resource.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
We need you.
A lot of people, it's not difficult. And I'll give you a good example. If you walk into your local retail store and just ask, you ask that salesperson about that product that they're selling. They couldn't tell you, like, they can sell it to you on the spot and you can purchase it from that store and walk home with it, but they couldn't tell you that process of how it got to that store. So it's very empowering when you can understand the full spectrum. Yeah.
For sure, because I think a big piece that would be intimidating is, one, you're dealing with another country, you're dealing with another culture, how they do business may be different from how we do business. Absolutely. How did you approach contacting suppliers or manufacturers, and what fears did you have to overcome in doing so?
Yeah, so I think from initial contact standpoint, just via email. So, like, what's that sales email or inquiry email? Hey, this is Devin Davis from Tonus. I'm interested in this product. Can you provide some additional information about it? Can you provide a sample? So once you get your samples in, they'll be able to ship. And that's the first part of your logistical
Get a sample.
Okay. Right? So that way you can test it, you can fill it before you decide, hey, I'm really going to invest in this and spend my money with this company. So you definitely need a sample. And then the second part is the challenge that I experienced was what's the cultural differences. China is extremely, different from the United States.
That's right.
And how they go about business. And then also, if you have any fears, if you are a minority, how do I approach that person? I don't think we should, but some folks may have that, like, I'm not sure what I'm doing. You may doubt yourself. So coming in with confidence, and then we live in a global world now, right? And this is the thing that I love about the internet. There really is no time zone, or there's no true barriers. You can travel anywhere via email. You can travel anywhere via Skype.
That's right.
Right. So I can talk to someone in China or Russia or India right now.
That's right.
In real time to have those conversations. So that made it a lot easier because we're able to communicate. Although I may have to wake up at 6 a.m. and it may be 12 a.m. at their time. But the fact that we're able to connect and do business on both of our schedules. Just leveraging technology makes it a lot more accessible.
That's right. The possibility just opens us up to more possibilities.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
Definitely.
awesome. How many companies did you get samples from before you decided on the right one?
Yeah, so I've been probably around 10, 12 companies before we found the right product. Even, and that's the Power Mac Wireless. But even going into some of our new developments, we've, requested 10 to 20 samples of over-ear headphones. Just testing quality, sound quality, material quality. Because you have to think, it's all about the consumer at the end of the day. If you're going into hardware.
Right.
But what's that user's experience? You may like it, but do other people like it? So here comes another form of research that I'm about to, inform people about.
Right.
Focus groups.
Okay.
And go with people outside of your family and friends, because your family, they love you, right?
Yeah.
So
that's not a real test.
That's not a real test. So they're going to tell you what you want to hear. They may not want to hurt your feelings, and hopefully you have somebody within your family and friends. If your product sucks, and they can tell you, hey, that sucks. Don't invest in that. Keep moving.
Keep going.
And even so, I'll give you an example. We tested, Power Mac Wireless is for sale, but we went out selling. We did an activation at New York Sports Club.
Okay, good for you.
Thank you. And then you're talking true New Yorkers that are not related to me. they don't care about me at the end of the day, right? So putting the product in front of those individuals that's my target demographic. I was extremely nervous because a New Yorker tell you how it is in a minute, right? But
don't embarrass me publicly. Keep it to the side.
Yeah. So putting the product out in front of them and finding your target consumer who will actually use your product and getting in front of that person, right? So whether that's a focus group or actually in that setting, putting in front of that individual and saying, hey, what do you think about this? Would you be willing to pay what I'm, the price that I'm asking for it? And folks are buying it from us at New York Sports Club, and I think that at that moment we knew we had something. That's something real.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Who's your ideal client?
Ideal client. So it's going to vary per product. So for this particular product, it is the person who lives an active lifestyle. So first, let me just take a step back.
Yeah.
I would say millennials, right? Millennials and Gen Z right now. So we're looking youth, folks my age and younger. But then it's like, okay, well, who fits the profile of wearing a Power Mac Wireless? It's the athlete, it's the commuter, it's the person that lives an active lifestyle, whether you're going jogging or whether you're doing, CrossFit or weight training. Again, things I'm talking about, this is designed for an active user, but also just a commuter, right? The person who is sporty. And then again, if I shift to a different product, which would be a concept that we're working on now, which are the over-ear headphones, that consumer is slightly different. So again, within the millennial age group, but that person is more fashion forward, more concerned about style, more concerned about, how am I going to be perceived, and if I wear this product, will I be perceived as cool? Is my favorite athlete or is my favorite actor or influencer wearing that product? So I think the different products will have different profiles that
For sure.
fit those.
For sure. And I told you, I've been wearing the headphones.
I appreciate that.
Man, for sure. One, I accept gifts, but I accept gifts that are dope.
Yeah.
And like,
sure.
and so like, if it was whack, I'd be like, it's cute.
Yeah, please keep it honest with me. Yeah.
But no, and so the only thing was like, just making sure that it's still charged.
Definitely.
But I like the fact that I can see it on my phone, like the levels that it's at.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so I noticed that, and I was like, oh, that's great. So I know when to plug it back in.
Definitely.
So that helps the person that can't pay attention to most things.
For sure.
And so I got hit up this morning from a friend who, like, I was just making a post about something else, and she was like, yo, how much are those headphones?
Yeah.
Normally I don't buy like expensive headphones, but like if they're good, like I want to get some.
Yeah, definitely.
And then like for me, like, that's the power of just, social media and the power of having, having that platform.
Definitely.
And so I'm happy for a brother to be in the tech industry doing dope things,
I appreciate that.
and that I can support, because that's what we need.
Yeah.
Because I can handle anybody else's headphones.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll be like, yeah, they're good, but that's not coming back to our community.
And that's extremely important. And even if you look at some of our competitors out there, right? It may be a dope style. It may have come from an influential person, or you may see your favorite, whoever that person is, actor, sports athlete, wearing that product. But is it helping out your community?
Right.
To your point, is it helping out your community? And what was the inspiration behind it?
Right.
I think that's important.
Right.
Was it just a capitalistic opportunity? And to some extent, if you are an entrepreneur, you're probably thinking like, how can I capitalize on this opportunity? But again, for African Americans, for Hispanics, I think it's support your own people.
Absolutely.
Anybody can go out and get a product that's going to support a major corporation, but it is something to have our dollars circulate within our community.
Absolutely.
And that the conversation that takes place is our dollar leaves our community like that, right?
Seconds.
So what better way than finding entrepreneurs that's in your network or that you may be associated with on social media and keeping that dollar circulating, because again, if they know another minority business owner, they'll spend it with them, and so forth and so on, and we can just keep the fire going. So
Absolutely. Because me and you, this ain't over.
Yeah, no, this is a long. Yeah, we in here together. Yeah, absolutely. It's on the grind. So
yeah, that's what it is. You know, when you see somebody else that's doing their thing, I know you work hard. I work hard.
Absolutely.
Like and that's what the network is. Like let's work hard in our own lane, build out our own lane, so that we can all travel together at some point.
Definitely. And again, if I can put someone on, introduce them to you.
Absolutely.
That gives them a platform. And so you just never know. And the thing about networking too is, even when I was in college, you don't know who people will become.
That's
and
right.
I think that is extremely important. Like if people knew Oprah was going to be Oprah, I'm pretty sure they would have treated her differently,
right?
And same thing like Tyler Perry. If you knew he was going to be Tyler Perry, you would have treated him differently. So
man was homeless.
Yeah, right. So it's like don't discredit people because of who their current situation. Don't discredit people because, you see that person, like, oh, that's just, John from around the way or whatever. You don't know what skills and talents that man may have or that, that woman may have. So it's really just giving people the benefit of the doubt, and people change, people evolve, people grow. So, yeah.
Everybody has a master plan. Some people take a little longer for it to download,
For sure.
We don't know if it's finished downloading yet, so we can't judge it, You
can't.
Awesome. So switch gears a little bit, because I like Black love.
Definitely.
And as a business owner, sometimes it's hard to be in a relationship because we work hard. We work different hours.
Definitely.
You have a lovely partner,
yes,
Janae.
Yes.
She's amazing.
Yes.
And so I want to highlight that, and because I ask other men, like, so are you single?
Yeah.
And I ain't trying to hit on them.
Yeah.
But it's like, you want to know, like what, like as a man, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, what do you look for in a partner as a support system for you? Like, what are the things that you look for?
So I think the most important thing is just support. You have to be with it. You have to understand that at the end, I think entrepreneurs are dreamers, to a certain extent. Like, obviously, you do your research. That's why you look at the data. And you try to minimize your risk as much as possible, and make sure that you have something viable that you believe people will want to support you in. But having a partner that sees the vision. And the other thing I would say is, the first person you're going to sell, as an entrepreneur, you're always selling something, but the first person you're going to sell is your partner. That's right.
Right?
So if, that person can believe in the mission, believe in the business, and really see it. That's number one. I would say the second part is number two. You want to include that person in what you're doing. So it's one thing for you to be working on it, and as an entrepreneur, you can get immersed in your business 24/7, right? And
easily.
Really not. You may tell people about it, but if they're not a part of the process, they may start to feel excluded. So it's bringing that person in, making sure that they're involved. Hey, get in their opinion. What do you think about this? You know, do you like this? What's your thoughts and opinions overall? And bringing them out there with you. Let them, whether if it's a hardware, if it's a software, take them to, wherever you're designing at, right?
Yeah,
let them meet your team. You want to bring them along that journey as much as possible, and I think those are the most important things.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I wish you both
Yeah,
luck.
I appreciate
it.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's do a demo for us
Yeah.
for the headphones, so you all know how it works.
Absolutely. So actually, I'll take these off real quick. But so you guys can see that.
Look at
So,
that camera.
So as I mentioned, this is the Power Mac Wireless. It's activated by magnetic technology. So when you separate it, it'll instantly connect to your phone, tablet, or laptop within 2 to 3 seconds of pairing time. And once you separate it, it'll tell you it's connected. Right?
Yeah, you can hear mine.
Yeah. And you'll throw them in your ear. And the ear hooks, the way the ear hooks, they lock into your earlobe there. So they're not going anywhere. I know a lot of times people wear traditional generic earbuds.
And they fall out.
And that could be anything, whether.
That's another thing I noticed. Like it feels very secure in my ears, and that's a big deal because
it's
they
a
do
huge
fall
deal.
out.
Yeah. So whether if you're, again, jumping on a train, jumping in and out of a car, you're in business meetings or whatever, exercising. That's one of the most annoying things, and then also being tangled, right? So this is Bluetooth wireless, tangle-free cord. So sweat and water resistant. Those things matter to certain people. Now,
I was telling her I didn't read the instructions, so I didn't know about the sweat.
Yeah, sweat and water resistant. So you can go, if it's obviously it's August, but if it's a 98-degree scorcher and you're on the train platform, you're not gonna.
You're good.
You're not gonna sweat them out. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, overall it's premium quality sound, and it's a dope product.
Yeah, it is. I like the fact because like the other ones, like they're hanging out of your ear, they don't stay on, but then you have the cord that is tugging as well. So like it's a battle.
Definitely.
And so. I heard what you said, and I was like, well, I'll try it for myself. And so I put it on, I thought, oh, this is cute.
Yeah.
And then the moment I had my phone in my hand, and then I think I had actually changed my shirt.
Yep. Okay.
I was changing like my jacket or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I didn't have to take off my headphones. That's when the light bulb hit me. It's like, oh, I can do anything I want with these things on.
And to think about it now.
I'm talking loud, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. But I would say, even to think about it now, when you're using your phone, everything's content driven. So whether if you're on SoundCloud or YouTube and all these different platforms, it's valuable information. Don't get me wrong, you can hit pause and all that stuff, but if you don't want to miss anything, you don't want a cord to stop you or
Right.
So it's like,
I don't want to press pause.
Yeah, you want to press
let's keep this going.
Yeah, let's keep the content going. So yeah, it's very convenient. And the most important thing, if you can save someone time to a certain extent, that's extremely valuable. So whether if it's a few seconds or I don't have to spend time searching for my headphones and I know where they are, put them on my put them around my neck, I know how to go. That's extremely valuable to people. So,
Right. So now that I've used these, like I look at my other headphones, like, all right, well, let me see if mine's charged up.
Word.
If my Tonus are charged, I'm not using it.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is awesome. This is awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
I appreciate you for your time. I wish you so much luck and success in the future. Let's do business together.
Absolutely.
Let's work together. Let's make some money together.
Absolutely, I'm there.
Let's just make this happen because we're building empires.
Thank you for the platform.
Absolutely.
The show is amazing.
Thank you.
Just keep doing what you're doing. If you're an entrepreneur out there, definitely come on the platform. Definitely let's work together. Let's stay connected.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up. Now tell people how they can find you.
Yeah, definitely. So the website is tonusaudio.com, TONUSAUDIO.com. And then you can find us on social media, Instagram and Facebook. Both are at Tonus Headphones, TONUS Headphones. So you can find us on all those platforms.
Awesome. Go find this man. And don't find his brother. Find him. Devin Davis.
Yeah.
Find Devin Davis, Tonus Audio. And just once again, thank you so much. And this is another episode of Master Plan. Stay tuned for more.
Young Boss.
Peace.
Peace.
saying, yo, I'm living my life and everything ain't always good, but I'm doing what I want cause I'm the boss and I'm gonna do it. Yo, I'm living my life, it's a race against the clock. I'm MJ behind the line and I'm gonna make that winning shot. Yo, I'm living my life, 30 hours in the day, out here busting my ass, fuck what anybody say, cause I'm living my life and everything ain't always good, but I'm doing what I want cause I'm the boss, understood? Went from the Wolverine state to climbing up palmetto trees. Always knew that I was different, on a mission I would be. Went to school to study money cause that's what I wanna see. In between I found myself rapping over stolen beats. I knew one day that I would make it if I just worked and believed. I believe in superpower.